Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is a condensed version of today's episode of Undisputed, handpicked with the best segments and discussions. Skip, Shannon, let's go.
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, you two.
Hey, Skip. What's up, Jay?
Just a...
JT.
Oh, now we're doing fist bump.
No, Skip, no. Skip, why we...
I have never, ever fist bumped the moderator. Not one time in my whole career. Nope, I'm not going to start.
Jenny.
But you guys do what you want. You guys do what you want. I don't
Skip.
care. I
Jenny
just
and I
don't
have
even care. You've got your thing. You almost said it.
Yeah,
yes,
Jenny
go
and I-
ahead.
Me and Jenny, we cool.
You got a thing.
Me and Jenny like, how you doing, bro?
Can we do one more for good luck? Thank you.
I'm good.
You good over there?
Yep, I'm real good.
You on the island by yourself.
Because it's always something about my Cowboys. And you say, why do we talk about the Cowboys every day? Because they are America's team.
And they're always stepping in it.
Yeah,
Let's see,
that's true.
see how you do on that island today. But we are going to start with the Cowboys, and we have a busy Monday. Jerry Jones was adamant last week that Cowboys players will stand for the national anthem. Jones said the team has always had a written policy, and quote, you stand at the anthem toe on the line. Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott were asked about it over the weekend. Let's take a listen.
No, I never protest. I never protest during the anthem, and I don't think that's the time or the venue to do so. The game of football has always brought me such a peace, and I think it does the same for a lot of people. A lot of people playing the game, a lot of people watching the game, a lot of people that have any impact of the game. So when you bring such a controversy to the stadium, to the field, to the game, it takes away. It takes away from that. It takes away from the joy and to the love that football brings a lot of people. And so for me, I'm all about making a change, making a difference. And I think this whole kneeling and all that was all about just raising awareness, and the fact that we're still talking about social injustice years later. I think we've got to that point. I think we've proved and we know that there's social injustice. So I'm up for taking a next step, that whatever that step may be, for action and not just kneeling. I've always believed standing up for what I believe in, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Us as a team, we chose to stand together for the national anthem, and it was our decision, and I think it just shows our culture. It shows that, you know, that we have unity. We're going to stand as one. That's not knocking anyone else who may choose to kneel during the national anthem, but we're the Dallas Football Cowboys, America's team. We stand for the national anthem.
Well, Shannon, after hearing those comments, do you have a problem with what you heard from Dak and Zeke?
I have a big problem with both of those guys. Skip, let me take Zeke first. And you heard what he said. He said, us as a team, we chose to stand together for the anthem. It was our decision. I think it just shows our culture. It shows that we have unity. We're going to stand as one, but we're the Dallas Football Cowboys. We stand for the national anthem.
He also said that's not knocking anyone else who may choose to kneel for the anthem.
That's a lot, Zeke. You did not choose. That was not a team decision. That was a Jerry Jones decision. Just like for you to walk out there before the national anthem on that Monday night game, I think it was Sunday night game in Arizona, Skip.
No, Monday. Yeah.
Was it Monday?
I believe.
I think,
Go
okay,
ahead.
Monday night.
Whatever.
When you linked arm in arms and you kneeled arm in arm before the national anthem, that was not a team decision. That was a Jerry Jones decision. Just like you standing and toeing the line, that is a Jerry Jones decision. That is not a culture. But trust me, I do know about the Dallas Cowboy cultures. It was cultivated in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it's still perpetuated. You know a lot about that too, Zeke Elliott. But Skip, that's a discussion for another day. Now let's go to Dak Prescott. Skip, I never protest during the anthem. I don't think it's the time or the place. Skip, let me tell you something about protest. Protest is not about time, because the time is always right to do the right thing. He says the venue. The venue, Dak, is very, very important, because in order for Dr. King to get these sit-ins at what was it, in North Carolina, the venue was very important. The timing was very important, because it would have done them no good if there's no one trying to eat their, Skip, at 11 o'clock at night because it's closed. So the venue and the timing is very important. That I would have thought you, of all people, being from Mississippi, would understand protests. And someone
Louisiana and Mississippi.
Louisiana,
Yeah,
Mississippi.
grew up in
Well, he went.
Yeah, he did.
Bruh,
Mississippi State.
they flew the rebel flag when you scored a touchdown. You come out there to rebel flags and cowbells. You would think Dak, of all people,
It's
would,
more Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. But go ahead.
But they still got it down there.
You got it.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
What's their state flag, Skip? Is it? So I know he went to Mississippi.
I mean, the big
State.
controversy was at Ole Miss about the rebel flag. So go ahead.
I misspoke. You are
That's all right.
exactly
That's all right.
correct.
That's all right.
Skip.
All right.
I would have thought him spending 4 years at Mississippi State in the state of Mississippi.
It's the same. The culture's the same. Yeah.
You would have thought that Dak would understand. And as he's saying that they come to the game, the joy and the love, a lot of people's joy has been robbed because their loved ones are no longer here because of the police brutality and the injustice that's going on in this country. See, Dak and Zeke, Skip, these are not second-tier guys. This is why the owners always win when it comes to strikes and lockouts, because the guys that have cachet, the guys that have clout, Skip, they're so willing and so easily manipulated to cross the picket line. So if the top-tier guys will cross, Skip, what choice do the other guys have? If these two guys say that, what does a fifth-round pick, Skip? What does an undrafted free agent? What choice does he have? I get that. I get ready to do, Skip. He's on that second contract. As you mentioned, he got 14 national endorsements. I would just prefer he say, look, Jerry has spoken. That might not necessarily how I view that. I'm going to find other means to get the point across that this fight needs to be carried on. Zeke, Skip. Jerry Jones was willing to sue the NFL and his 31 other owners in order to get Zeke on the football field. So Zeke taking his approach, Skip, you can understand why. But it's just so sad that Jerry speaks and they echo everything Jerry says, who echoes everything the president says, whose language is so divisive. Dak, I want you to do me one favor. Can you please tell me the time and the venue that's appropriate to protest? Because there are millions of billions of people that want to know the time and the venue in which they can protest.
Okay. You done?
Done.
I have a whole lot to respond to the many points that you made, but I first need to clarify my stance one more time. I was with Colin Kaepernick, this is just my personal view, from the start about the issue he was protesting that got lost in the chaos of the early protests, the early kneeling, which was simply white cops shooting unarmed black men in this country was completely out of control, and attention needed to be called to it. And Colin Kaepernick did succeed, I think, in creating national awareness of that issue facing your community.
Correct.
And I think it resounded. I think it really had dramatic impact. So let's start with that premise. Now let's go to my Dallas Cowboys. Here's the irony of what you're saying. To my ear, the Cowboys as a team from the start just didn't want to kneel for whatever reason. It is America, so you have to respect their right as a team to protect their team unity, and that's what Zeke talked about, that they decided early on, this is going back 2 years ago, that for whatever reason, they're just going to stand. Was it because Jerry laid down the law behind the scenes? Maybe.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Was it because Dak Prescott just is sort of a red, white, and blue American? Does he have that in his heart? I think he does, because he said it 2 years ago. This was in his rookie season. He said, I stand for the anthem, okay? Can you condemn him for saying that?
No.
Okay? And he made a strong case in what we saw. We didn't see the whole soundbite, but he went on and on about how this whole kneeling thing I was good with, but it was about raising awareness. And I think the fact that we're still talking about social injustice years later, I think we got to that point. I think we proved it. We all know about social injustice now. So he keeps saying, I'm ready to take the next step. I think it's about taking action, not about kneeling. Like it served its purpose and it ran its course. Now, whether you agree or disagree, you got to respect his view of that. Okay, I'm not trying to force it on you or even force it on me. That was just his take.
Okay.
Now let's look at Ezekiel Elliott. I got to tell you, the Zeke I've come to know and observe, he's his own guy. I'm just not sure he's going to kowtow and fall in line to whatever Jerry Jones says or President Trump says. I think he's speaking about a concept that I always tell you that you were so integral to on the teams you're on, and it's unity. No sport that we cover relies more on team unity than pro football does. So they're just saying our culture is united. So we want to be united. And if Zeke Elliott says we chose as a team, and this wasn't this year, this is last year.
Yeah, but you know that's Jerry. The reason why I was so intricate, Mr. Bolin never came down and said, Shannon, this is what you need to do.
No.
This is what we need to do. Jerry has made it abundantly clear. This is not, first of all, Zeke Elliott is in no position to be a team leader, given his background. Now, maybe in three.
I think he's on the verge of having to become one.
Okay.
I mean,
it will.
Because there's no Witten and no Dez, and all of a sudden the two other best players are rising into leadership, for better or for worse.
It will be. There will come a time that he can graduate into that position, but not 1 year removed after missing 6 games, Skip. You and I both know, Skip, this is Jerry talking.
Okay, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
Did one Dallas Cowboy, even one, protest by kneeling during the anthem last year?
No.
Not one, all 16 games, all preseason games?
Yes.
Nobody kneeled. There were 2 players who did raise a fist after the completion of the anthem. One of them, DeMontre Moore, was soon cut, so to your point.
Yes.
And the other one, David Irving, is now suspended for the first 4 games, so he's sort of out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
But the point is, not that he isn't in camp, but he hasn't been asked about this. But
Well, he's not in camp yet because he's dealing with some other issues, right?
He's got some mental issues, but whatever. The point is that, remember the sequence here, they were unified on this issue last year.
No, they weren't, Skip.
Yeah, they were.
Jerry Jones made it abundantly clear that they were not going to kneel. Jerry Jones said, this is my playpen. You're going to do what I say. He made that clear, Skip. This is not them saying, you know what, Skip, we used to get together as a team, and we would vote on certain things.
How do we know they didn't? I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, I'm not going to question his word, he said, we chose to do this as a team. So are you calling him a liar?
Either he's a liar or Jerry's a liar. Now, which one are you calling a liar?
Okay, because I'm going back to last year. Did Jerry lay down this edict last year? I didn't ever hear it. I think they chose as a team. Did the Steelers choose as a team to do it all together? No, they were split. And did it cost them in Chicago? Yes.
Here's the thing, Skip. They agree, as James Harrison sat here and said, he said, we agreed that we were going to stand in the tunnel. He said, that's what we agreed to. He said, I don't know where the coaches went. He said it was fractured,
and the coaches went out as a group
and he
to
said,
stand for the anthem.
He said,
and then Villanueva said, well,
Villanueva said, I need to see the flag.
I need to see the flag, so he stepped out of the tunnel.
Right.
So they were a little bit in disarray psychologically, and did it affect them? Well, James Harrison said it didn't affect them, but they lost in overtime to the lowly Bears. And did it affect the Ravens in London? We had Ray Lewis sit right here and say they were torn apart over this issue.
Right. The thing is, Skip, had Jerry not come out and Stephen Jones doubled down, basically saying if you don't stand, you're getting cut. You're not going to be a Dallas Cowboy. So did they decide? Did that?
Okay, but remember, they're saying that they decided last year. Like this is all out of sequence because it sounds like they all had to fall in line. They all kowtowed.
Jerry said this last year.
Okay, but I don't remember this kind of an edict being presented by Jerry Jones. And I told you last Friday when President Trump had tweeted and Stephen Jones had like tripled or quadrupled down.
Yes.
I told you, I don't know what the point of this is. I don't know what the end game is here because it was already clear his team was already unified over this. It's like you're stirring a pot that didn't need to be stirred. And what did I tell you on Friday? If I'm sitting in that locker room, whether I'm black or white, boy, this rubs me the wrong way because that's how I'm built.
Right.
And I said, now we got to hear from Dak and we got to hear from Zeke because if they buck this, if they go against it, if they're rubbed raw over this like I thought they might be, well, Jerry Jones is going to have a huge issue because is he going to fire those guys? I don't think so.
What's the Patriot way? What did Coach Belichick do better than any other coach? He got Tom Brady to accept the Patriot way. Everybody else will fall in line.
I'm not sure he's accepting it right now.
No, but I'm saying for the previous 17 years. Okay, he gets these 2 guys who are his 2 best players, his 2 most influential players. He get those 2 guys to fall in line. What will everybody else do, Skip?
Well, sure. And is Dak protecting 14 endorsements?
Absolutely.
He probably is. He probably is. I don't know that for a fact, but is he also patriotic? I've always gotten the sense he is genuinely patriotic. Do you condemn him for that?
No, I'm patriotic. But I see what's going on. That's what makes me even more patriotic. Patriotic is not standing for the national anthem. Patriotic is not wearing the red, white, and blue.
Well, maybe that's Dak's view. Maybe he thinks it is standing for the anthem. Is that all wrong?
No, hey.
Okay, he's saying there are other ways to take action. Don't take a knee anymore. He thinks it ran its course. Take action. And by the way, last year, didn't a majority of black players stand for the anthem in the league? It seemed like.
Skip, I don't have a problem either way. The problem that I'm having is Jerry Jones saying, you do this. Him saying the First Amendment doesn't apply. When the NFL says, stand down all teams,
okay,
we're having ongoing
but Dak
discussion.
and Zeke are just saying it's business as usual. It's what we always did last year. They're just expressing the same sentiment that Dak expressed when he was a rookie 2 years ago. I stand for the anthem because it was an issue 2 years ago.
So that's my thing, Skip. Did they decide as a team in 2016 when it first became an issue that they were going to stand?
Well,
of course not.
Well, I don't know. How do you know that?
Skip. Okay.
Well, did any of them kneel? They haven't had one player kneel, not one. It's not like they had this guy go rogue, and so they had to take a stand against that guy.
You make my point even more valid, because if nobody kneeled, why would Jerry Jones need to take a stand so strong? Nobody had never knelt.
That's what I asked last Friday. What are you doing, Jerry? I told you, you're stirring up a hornet's nest that doesn't even exist. It's like what you're doing a favor, it appears, for President Trump, right? And President Trump then tweets, way to go, Jerry, and he encourages this.
Dak is echoing his owner, who's echoing his president.
Well, how do we know that for sure? That's your point of view. Do you think that's a fact? Because I'm not sure that's a fact.
I feel very comfortable in saying this.
Okay, well,
Dak feels very. See, the thing is, what Dak is starting to realize. Dak thinks for a second, and I hope Dak thinks, Skip, he's a quarterback in the National Football League, which is a huge accomplishment. He's also a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, which is also a big accomplishment. But he's also black. And sometimes those two does not coincide. Sometimes we think because we're a quarterback in the NFL or we're quarterback for a prominent football team, that excludes us from our race. But I hope and I pray to God, Dak never, ever has to come to the realization that he's black. And I'm not talking about filling out an application. I hope he doesn't have to find that he's black the hard way, like so many others who do not play quarterback in the National Football League, who's not quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, so why don't you condemn all the black players who are not kneeling? Because it's really a vast majority.
All he had to do was say this was Jerry's policy. Although I might not agree with it, Jerry has said, is when he tried to elaborate, to say that to make him, well, this is not what I do, because it robs the game of its joy and its love. For who? For you? Because he's talking about everybody else. Okay, maybe it...
Well, obviously, a lot of fans would agree with that point of view, right?
But the Quinnipiac poll says a lot of fans say they agree with the players.
It's up to 53%.
Okay, then. Yep. So all I'm saying is that when he elaborated, he made it seem like, oh, man, this is just... To put this in context, Skip, now, Colin Kaepernick originally took a seat on the bench. It was Nate Boyer, who's a Green Beret, said, Colin, I don't agree with this. But if you're going to be respectful, take a knee.
Got it?
He says, take a knee. So in other words, a Green Beret, a guy that served in the military in Afghanistan said, if you want...
Who is not black. Go ahead.
Not black.
Thank you.
Said, take a knee. Skip, I'm not trying to condemn Dak. It's just when he expanded, he said it robs the game of its joy.
He did?
It robs the game of its love. For who? For you? There's a lot of people that's been robbed of loved ones.
Okay, but when he expanded, he said, taking a knee has run its course. It served its purpose. Let's take new action.
That's what he said.
Okay, well, that's his point of view.
Exactly.
Well, he doesn't have to share your point of view.
And I don't have to share his. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So why didn't one player in the NBA kneel? Not one, not a single one. Are you condemning the NBA for that?
Because I feel that the NBA, the players, that Adam Silver, that these players are more in line, they're more partners than, say, the NFL.
Okay, well, I could also argue that that's a case to be made that they all sold out to their owners just because they feel in partnership with their owners.
Let me ask you a question. Had Jared Richardson chose not to sell his team, do you think the NFL players could have put enough pressure on Roger Goodell and the other owners to force Mr. Richardson to sell the team? Yes or no?
Force him to sell his team. I don't know if they ever have tried to put that kind of pressure.
Have anybody ever tried to put that kind of pressure on the NBA team? They did it with Donald Sterling, and what happened, Skip? He got up out of there.
I'm not even sure players put pressure. I think Adam Silver, that was his first act as commissioner. He said he will be gone.
Skip, did you see what LeBron said? Did you see what the Clippers players did? Did you see what the Clippers players did?
Yes, I did. But that was an Adam Silver move. But all the players have said all along, we don't need to kneel because we all have platforms. We all feel we can speak our minds whenever we want to. Right. So we choose to stand for the anthem.
Exactly. And the NBA owners do not try to suppress them. When they had this Trayvon Martin thing and LeBron them wore hoodies, so be it. Now what do they have, Skip? The NBA jersey, the practice warm-ups got hoodies on them. I can't breathe. Everybody wear the T-shirts. Where are the T-shirts? Where is the National Month for Social Injustice Month? They have a Breast Cancer Awareness Month. They have a Military Month. When is that month coming? I don't think it's the time and the place to be Dak. I don't think it's the time and the place for people that we have to pay for patriotism.
So I want to get this straight. Are you condemning every NFL player who does not kneel from this point forward? Are you condemning them all as selling out?
No, Skip, I'm not.
Well, it seems like you're singling out two Cowboys just because you don't like the stance of the owner, who took this stance a year later than his team took a stance to say we're all as one going to stand.
First of all, I got a problem with Zeke saying that this is their culture. We know this is not the Cowboys' culture because culture is not something that happens over 2 years. The Patriot way didn't happen last year.
He's just saying that's this team's culture. We're going to be united. We're going to decide as one. Well, you're calling him a liar, so I don't know. But I'm going to take Zeke at his word that they chose as a team to do this. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? It could have been cart before horse. They might have chosen as a team, and Jerry felt emboldened to make the stance take the stance that he made and make those comments.
When have Jerry, you wrote books about Jerry.
Yeah, I did.
You know Jerry very well. When has Jerry gone against Jerry? When has Jerry put something to a vote? Jerry says the buck stops with him. Jerry says no matter who comes, who goes, the buck stop with me. Now we're supposed to believe that they have a democratic or a democracy in Dallas? Come on, Skip.
Not a democracy. They just have strong team leaders. Those teams I covered in 93, 4, 5, boy, they chose how they wanted to choose. That team ran itself.
Jimmy. Jimmy.
Well,
what role did Jimmy play in that?
Strong.
They didn't want to run a foul with Jimmy.
Yeah, but boy, I'll tell you what, you go Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Charles Haley, Darren Woodson, Daryl Johnston.
Okay, tell me those leaders. Tell me those leaders. Emmitt Smith was what? When they started winning, Emmitt Smith was in his what? His fourth year?
Yeah.
Troy Aikman was in his fifth. Yeah. Michael was in his sixth. Okay, tell me those guys. Where are those guys at? They were not second and third year guys, Skip.
No.
Those guys went what? They lost to Detroit in the divisional round in 91. And then the next year, Super Bowl, championship game lost.
Should have been a Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Could have been had they kept Jimmy. Skip, I'm not condemning Zeke. I just do not believe that this was a team decision. I believe this was a Jerry decision, and they're falling in line. Dak, it's just when he says the love and the joy is robbed of the game by this. Skip, 2 minutes. So you telling me your love, your joy is robbed 2 minutes before the game. No player. Skip, I started playing football. I was 9 years old. So I played Pee Wee, I played JV, I played high school, college, and NFL, played in some all-star games. I've never, ever heard the national anthem be played during an actual game. The national anthem comes on before the game. So you trying to tell me somebody does something 2 minutes before the game, it robs you of your joy, it robs you of your love of the game. That's what Dak Prescott said.
Well, I think it does for some people who are supremely patriotic. It offends them, and so it puts them in a bad mood right from the start. Like my players that I'm about to root for, they're not even.
Let me tell you what robs me. When I see a guy land on the ground handcuffed, and two officers holding his leg, and the dog's biting.
You're preaching to the choir over there. I got you, but Dak Prescott is saying we did that for almost we're going on 3 years now, and he said let's find a new form of action. Let's take action instead of taking a knee. I don't know. There's some validity to that.
10 days until the Cowboys start with their preseason schedule, and maybe we will hear from a few more players before then.
No mercy.
Julian Edelman will be suspended for the first 4 games of the season for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing substances. A lot of people made the connection between Edelman and Tom Brady's trainer, Alex Guerrero. Yesterday, Brady was asked about that. Let's take a listen.
Tom, when Julian tested positive, a lot of people connected it to Alex Guerrero. Just what's your reaction to that? Do you think it's fair?
No comment. That's just ridiculous.
Tom.
I'm out. See you guys.
He's out. Shannon, do you have a problem with Brady's reaction?
Whoa, yes, I have a big problem.
Oh, do you? I'm
yes,
shocked.
yes.
I
Skip.
didn't see this one coming.
It was overreaction to a very, very simple question. Skip, it's very fair for them to ask that question. He could have said, I've known Alex Guerrero for a better part of a decade.
Yep.
He's my guy. He has never given me or recommended that I do anything illegal. Julian, I've known for a decade since he's been here. I've seen him grow. If Julian says he made an honest mistake, I'm going to take him at his word. Moving further, I will have no further comments on Julian and the suspension. Now, if you want to talk about how he looks after having ACL surgery, we can talk about that. Skip, everybody's going to make that jump because Julian has never, ever tested positive for anything that we know of. The year he starts training with Alex Guerrero, because in the documentary, remember, Skip, the first documentary, he wasn't training with him. He's like, they made fun of him because he was lifting weights and doing all that other stuff. They made fun of him. He's like, guys, you giving me bleep because I need to lift weights. He trains, he tests positive. If you remember, A-Rod's situation, the doctor in Florida, Galea, he was also linked to Tiger Woods.
He was.
So people made that leap. They went to Tiger. Tiger had 14 sessions, played 76,000. He said, bro, he didn't give me anything illegal. He consulted me on some things, how I should train, blase, blase. Boom, it was done. Guerrero and Tom Brady, Skip, are going to be linked together forever. Just like Barry Bonds and Anderson will be linked together forever. And because people looking at Tom Brady like, well, hold on, wait a minute, bro. You in your late 30s. You in your 40s winning MVPs. You're playing better in your late 30s and 40s than you did in your late 20s and 30s. How is this possible? So people like, well, wait a minute. So if Julian get popped, so what's Tom Brady doing? Skip, that's just a natural. Doesn't mean that it's true. I don't believe Tom is doing anything illegal. But for him to react the way he did, now he gives people cause for like, wow, he reacted like that on a simple question. Skip, it's different than when LeBron, after game 1, when the reporter asked 7 different ways about J.R. Smith and what LeBron. Did you know what J.R. was thinking? What do you think J.R. was thinking? What was you thinking? LeBron gets up and walked out. Skip, this was a one-off. He just asked one question. He didn't try to ask 5 different questions, the same question 5 different ways, hoping he could trip Tom Brady up. So I believe this was an overreaction. Tom could have handled it a lot better. I get that he's frustrated, but this was an overreaction, and you know it.
I do know it. I will give you overreaction. But there was great reason to have an overreaction because I'm going to remind you, and by the way, Brady had answered 4 or 5 other questions for 4 or 5 minutes before this one hit him the exact wrong way. And then he concluded the interview with that. He should have just said, that's ridiculous, and moved on to the next question.
Correct.
You don't even have to say, I don't want to discuss this anymore. Just, that's ridiculous, go to the next question.
Correct.
But he didn't, because you know and I know how much Alex Guerrero has meant to Tom Brady.
Yes.
He has changed his life by prolonging his career to levels nobody ever dreamed possible. At age 40, to your point, he did win the regular season MVP. At age 40, going on 41, he did throw for a playoff record, 505 yards in the Super Bowl at age 40. And he's now become an Alex Guerrero evangelist, a zealot, preaching and teaching his method. That's why he did Tom versus Time. That was the main reason, the main motivation was to tell people, look what I found. I found pliability. It's not about lifting a lot of weights.
Right.
It's not about growing muscles. It's about lengthening all your muscles.
Correct.
Stretching, pliable muscles will absorb blows a lot better and a lot more safely than tight, strong muscles, okay? So that certainly makes sense to me. And the whole notion that Alex Guerrero is some kind of quick fix PED master or quack,
right,
if you will, some steroid quack, it's extremely offensive to him because this guy's everything to him.
Right.
You can just tell it. He's sold him,
because
pushed him on Belichick, who pushes back.
Because basically, Skip, any stain on Guerrero is a knock on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Because that's his doctor.
Okay, so now I get that there was a little method to the madness. Guess why Tom Brady posted the bad body beach picture that you ridiculed?
Yeah.
Why do you think he posted that?
Well, you want to say, if I'm
He's
taking
trying to say,
steroids,
look
they
at me,
backfire.
am I a steroid guy?
Yeah.
Could we see that again?
Yeah.
Does that look like a steroid body to
Probably
you?
not.
No?
I don't know
No?
what supplements that he's taking.
Yeah.
But he should stop those immediately.
Okay.
They're not working.
Okay. So I think that was a message to Shannon Sharpe, like, well, look at me. Look at me.
No.
Yeah, me? Am I a steroid product? I think not.
You know what, Skip? I'm not going to, you know what? I could expand and says, okay, there are a lot of things that don't give you the definition and the tone that helps you play, that helps with recoverability, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to take Tom Brady, that Tom Brady is on the up and up, and Guerrero, what they're doing, the stretching, the elongating of the muscles, so they don't have those bound, tight muscles, but the difference is Tom Brady plays quarterback. Julian Edelman is in car wrecks about 60 times a week.
He is.
So he needs those muscles. Gronk needs muscles.
And you brought up, it was episode, I believe, 3 of Tom versus Time, where they're early morning, they're just having a little session, you know, they're all coming in for their morning coffee, stretching out a little bit. And that's when they started getting on Edelman about, look at you, what are you doing? It's about pliability. And then Guerrero jumps in and says, you can lift weights with pliability. It's the moderation, somewhere in between. He says, no, he said, I have to stay strong.
Right.
Well, in this case, I don't know what he took. I don't know if it was something that triggered the test or if he just blatantly took some PED.
Right.
But whatever it was, he was trying to recover and stay strong. And recover as in heal a serious injury at age 32.
Right.
So you're, when quickness is your everything and you're 32, you're starting to think, what if I lose just a half an ounce of quickness? Well, it could cost me some catches. It could cost me my job.
Right. And I agree, Skip, because I did Pilates and I did yoga when I played, but I also lived because I understood. Just being, look, Tom Brady can do that. And a lot of quarterbacks, Skip, they don't have no shoulders. They don't need muscular shoulders. Like I said, Cam Newton is the only quarterback that if you looked at him without his shirt on, you said, okay, he can play another position. These other guys, Skip, you look at those pair of shoulders, the slope shoulder, you're like, all you can do is play quarterback. And that works for them in that trade. But if you play any other position, you got to have that weight, Skip. But all Tom, because he reacted so in what you did, I'm out. And stop talking about you out. You're not out. They should, come back here. We got more questions to ask of you.
Is that what you would have said?
That would I come back here.
I would not have said that.
I would have said that.
I don't think you would have said that. So remember the deeper psychology here. What did Tom Brady fairly recently tell Jim Gray when he was right here in Santa Monica doing that conference? You remember that? And he was asked, did they show you the appropriate gratitude? He said, I plead the fifth.
Right.
And remember, he said, are you happy? And he said, I have my moments. Well, he's not very happy with his coach because his coach basically gave away Jimmy Garoppolo for only a second-round choice and then continued to text him, congratulations, after each of his 5 wins.
But the situation with Tom and Alex Guerrero is not unusual, Skip. We had a trainer named Steve Hamilton, Big Steve. I think his son still worked for the Broncos. I started going to him, and a lot of people started going to him, and I told Mike he was really good. And a lot of guys said, Mike, he's really good. Mike hired him. He started traveling with the team. He started giving guys massages on the road. We went to the Super Bowl. He went to the Super Bowl with us. And so I'm sure that's what it was. Okay, Tom Brady, one of your best players, says, I recommend this guy, but maybe he was getting too close. Maybe he was giving information. Now, Steve never gave us information, says, well, this is what you should do. Steve, the trainers, whatever Greek said, hey, ice and stim, that's what we're doing. So I think Coach Belichick was saying, hold on. We paying these guys, we paying our training staff and paying our doctors millions and millions of dollars. And this guy with no quality, He didn't go to Johns Hopkins. He didn't go to Harvard Med School, Skip. He's like some Chinese medicine herbal specialist. Coach Belichick said, no. And I believe that they were starting to listen more to Alex Guerrero than maybe the training staff of the New England Patriots. That's where the conflict came in, and ultimately, Coach Belichick said, nah, bro, you got to go.
Okay, I hear you on all that, but again, the deeper water here is that Tom Brady, his coach scoffed at him when he played against Jacksonville with 12 stitches in his base of his thumb. Scoffed at it.
Well, the thing is Coach Belichick, forget what he scoffed at, it's Coach Belichick and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's the issue right there.
And then Malcolm Butler didn't play in the Super Bowl. And Tom Brady, I'm sure if you put him on a lie detector, he'd say, yeah, he cost me my 6th Super Bowl. They scored 41 points with Nick Foles at quarterback?
It's like if I'm upset at you, Skip, I'm upset with everybody that be around you. That's your friend. I don't like him either. So Coach Belichick and Tom are going head to head, where Alex Guerrero happens to be a friend of Tom, so he got to. I can't get rid of him. I can't lock Tom out the building.
And there was a story I read last night that Guerrero is getting a little more access, in this camp than he did last year. And it's probably because Tom Brady told Robert Kraft, he's going to be around.
Yeah, I need him to work on me, because you go training camp, walk through. So, hey, I need to get worked on every day.
Remember in Tom vs. Time, one of the later episodes, they were sneaking around into some empty suite up in Gillette Stadium up in the top so that he could work on him without being caught or seen by some of Belichick's eyes and ears. Wow.
Hey, Bron, bring him to the crib. Get your house equipped with all that stuff and just bring him to the crib like LeBron. LeBron spent $2 million. That's why he at the top of his game.
Yeah, but LeBron doesn't have a coach who was trying to sabotage him last year. Not to my knowledge.
Nah, owner. They tried to sabotage.
The owner? I don't think he ever tried to sabotage him. Did he? By doing what? Not giving him enough help?
We'll talk about that later.
No mercy. We actually are going to talk a bit more about LeBron and his move to the Lakers. It has been the biggest story of the offseason, but not all the reaction has been positive. Over 24 players and insiders were asked by ESPN about LeBron's move, and an anonymous agent said, quote, "My thought was, good luck. You must really want to live in LA. And an anonymous assistant coach said, quote, "They will be good, but I would be surprised if they make the top 4 in the West." And then an anonymous Western Conference player took it further, saying, quote, "He wanted to come to LA. They just had to not bleep up. Jerry West just said it. And I was like, finally, he's not coming to the Lakers. He is coming to LA." Shannon, what do you make of all of this?
LeBron can't win no matter what he does. He stays in the East for 15 years. And the reason why he stays in the East is the weaker conference, and he's guaranteed to go into the finals. Okay, his first couple of years when he couldn't win in Cleveland, he says, well, he's going to stay in the East, but he goes to Miami and he joins with 2 other star players because he doesn't like to compete. He wants a ready-made team. He just wants to dominate. Now, he leaves the East. He goes to the Western Conference, and I'll give you is the stronger of the 2 conferences. He doesn't go to a ready-made team in the Warriors. He doesn't go to the Houston Rockets. He could have stayed in the East, played with Philly. They're going to say something. Could have stayed in the East, played with Boston. He don't want to compete. He goes to a team, because remember now, the word is super teams are ruining it for the NBA. Everybody already knows. So super team. He doesn't go to a super team. He goes to a team that hadn't been to the playoffs in, 7, 8 years, Skip. He goes to that team. And now he doesn't care about winning. A guy that's won all of his life at every step says he's still in championship mode. Now he doesn't care about winning. All he cares about is what? The sun? Really? All he cares about Hollywood? Julia Roberts lives in New Mexico. If they want her to get in the movie, they know how to call her. Oh, yeah, George Clooney, he's in Italy somewhere, riding on a motor scooter on a Vespa, flipped over a car.
Really?
When they want him, they know how to get in touch with him. So all this, LeBron James, so the first 15 years, he built that. He built that $1 billion shoe deal with Nike, not in L.A. All those other endorsements, he built that, not being in L.A. Now people want us to believe in order for LeBron to go further, he had to come to L.A. Really? I've never in my life, and you can say this also, Skip Bayless, we've never had a guy critiqued like this by other players, by other coaches, by every general manager.
Well, you told me he's the greatest player who ever lived. So he should be critiqued.
Was Michael critiqued like this?
There was nothing wrong with him. There's nothing to critique. He went 6-0, 6 MVPs in the finals.
So what happened? Wow. So what happened the years that he didn't win it?
Well, once he broke through, he really
No,
did he not dominate?
He
dominated the game for 8 years, almost 10 years.
All I'm asking
just dominated.
Is that he played 14, 15 years, and he only went to the final 6 times. So those other 8, 9 times, what was going on? So when he left to go to play baseball, did the players like, man, why Michael leave and go to play baseball?
Who dominated the game at a higher level, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
I'm saying
not even close.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about LeBron right now.
Well,
we're talking about Jordan. No, I don't. You always trying to get Michael into our discussions, and this is not
because every time I do, it's game over for you.
In the words of Dak Prescott, this is not the time nor the venue to get Michael Jordan.
You don't want to make people unhappy? You don't want to make any LeBron fans unhappy right now. You don't want to make them uncomfortable. You're taking their joy away.
You take away the love and the joy of me talking about LeBron when you bring Jordan to the equation.
Finish.
So, with that being said, LeBron James did not need to do this move, Skip, in order to continue to be LeBron James. He was still going to be the most popular player in the NBA. He still was going to be one of the 2 or 3 most recognizable sports figures in all the world. What is it about what he did that bothers people so much they got to critique? Oh, Magic, you got Shaq, Jerry West. Nobody questioned. Shaq was coming to L.A. All they had, just don't bleep it up. That's all they had, just don't bleep it up. And he was coming to L.A. But nobody said anything about that. Magic is one guy. Oh, Magic ain't do nothing. All he had to do is not just mess it up. Come on, what is it about LeBron that makes people so upset that he's happy living his best life?
No one's upset. They're just sort of shocked by the decision.
Why?
Because it appears winning is no longer the priority, unless you're going to pick them to win the West next year. No. Are you going to? You've had them like 4th or 5th in the West?
I've had them 3rd or 4th. I didn't say no 4th or 5th.
Well, I'm putting words in your mouth. See if you'll take the bait.
No, you try to. First of all, you said they're not making the playoffs.
I did not say that. I said they're going to be the 8th seed.
You said 8th seed.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out, you had them making the playoffs. They're going to be firm in the playoffs last year. Now they get LeBron. Now they're going to be the 8th seed.
I already told you why. They gave up 5 really good players, and I thought that Luke Walton would actually play Lonzo Ball, like actually give him a chance to run the basketball team. Didn't happen. So
are the players that they gave up worse than the players they're getting?
That's debatable because they're more seasoned.
Really, Skip?
I mean, Larry Nance Jr.
Skip, you got LeBron James, and you said Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. and Brooke Lopez are, Skip, I can't believe
they're veteran players. They had a good team last year. They had all these same pieces plus all those.
What is LeBron? Do you understand what that is?
I do.
He's the GOAT.
He is not the GOAT,
he is.
But he's really good. He's the second best player in today's game. No. I give you that. He's the second best player. I give you that.
I see what you did.
So you didn't see what I did because just almost moments after the bombshell dropped, LeBron is coming to L.A. to be a Laker, I sat right in this very same seat and I said everything that's in this article. I said it all. How many weeks ago was that? I said it right on schedule. Moments after it happened, I said, what is he doing? So he's just coming, I had to conclude, for the sunshine, to be a little nearer to Hollywood. I still think that's a big deal to him. To be on the Staples stage, which is, you could argue...
When he wins the title, then what were you and all these anonymous people going to say?
Not going to win a title. Not the way they're going right now. And I thought, I waited for the other sneaker to drop. You know, what's the contingency plan? I see plan A, LeBron to the Lakers. What's B, C, D? Wait, Paul George had already committed to stay with Russell Westbrook for a long time in Oklahoma City. And Kawhi seemed iffy at best, dicey at best, and now you're not going to get Kawhi. So LeBron had agreed to come. He knocked on Magic's door. What did I say the first day? I love Magic Johnson. I gave him 0 credit for signing LeBron James. LeBron knocked on his door, not the other way around. LeBron chose to come to L.A., and I think a little more for L.A. than for the Lakers. But the Lakers is a great stage, and I also told you LeBron was born to end his career in purple and gold. He looks the part. He'll act the part on the Staples stage, but he chose to be a solo star for 1 year until they can acquire help for LeBron James.
For 1 year? Hell, he was a solo star damn near his whole career.
He was not.
What was he?
A solo star with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love? Are you kidding me?
First of all, Skip, first of all, First of all. He only played 4 years.
Better be careful. That's going to be a meme. That's going to be an internet meme. Go ahead.
Thanks for breaking it. It wasn't going to be until you mentioned it.
First.
See,
Am I right?
No.
Yeah.
He played 4 years with D. Wade and Chris Bosh.
He did.
He played 3 years with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. He played 15 years total. So what was that other second star his first 8 years?
Well, he couldn't choose. There was nowhere to go. He was stuck. He had to do.
So in other words, he was a solo star for 8 years.
And he had enough to win the East, which is not very hard to win.
So now he had enough to win the East. He goes to the West. Now he doesn't care about winning.
Well, he just took a year off. Like I
What
keep
year?
telling you, I already told you what happened. He
No,
is
Jordan
now-
took a year off by going to play baseball.
No, he was forced to take a year off.
He
was forced.
You getting in the technicality
No,
of the semantics.
I'm getting into reality. That's what I'm getting into. He was forced out for 2 years, and then he was forced out of Chicago.
With the Birmingham Barons, is that a baseball team or is it a basketball team?
He had to do something to occupy his time.
So
for
in
2
other
years.
words, he took a year and a half off. LeBron James will continue to play basketball
he will.
in the NBA in the tougher of the two conferences.
You going to pick them to win next year?
They're gonna
You think
win.
realistically they're going to dethrone Golden State next
They
year?
won't.
You do not.
Yeah, that's-
Because he just said, I can't chase the ghost anymore. I give up the ghost.
Okay,
He's worn out trying to equal Michael Jordan.
If you don't mind me asking, what would have been said had he joined Golden State?
I don't know. I would have said, way to go, LeBron, because
No,
that's what I said when Kevin Durant went there.
If he joins the Boston Celtics, what would have been said? He joins Philadelphia, now he wants to ride the coattails of those young guns, Joel
What would have been
Embiid.
said if you go to Philly, which I thought early on he was going to
Okay.
do, because that was his best avenue back to the finals for,
Now,
what are we up to, ninth straight time?
He wants to go to a ready-made team. LeBron James doesn't want to compete. He just wants ready-made guys that can help carry him. He goes to a team now that does not have ready-made superstars. These guys might be superstars in the future, but they're not.
What did I tell you the first day? He is now chasing Michael B. Jordan, not Michael Jordan. That burned him out, wore him out. He needs a year off.
He already passed him.
And the problem with LeBron is this is his 16th season, so if you effectively just have a honeymoon season in L.A., you're not getting any
He's
younger.
already passed the guy that you mentioned.
He has not. You're the only person in the world
No, I'm not.
who
No,
deludes
there are
himself
plenty
into
there are
thinking.
plenty guys
I'm
in this
sorry.
camp.
You delude yourself into thinking he has passed him. Nobody thinks that
Yes,
except
yes.
Shannon Sharpe.
No.
You're the only one.
No, there are plenty of us.
Yeah.
We're about 6 billion strong.
Really?
Yeah.
6 billion strong? Huh.
We-
Is that
we-
how many Twitter followers
No,
you have?
I'm coming.
All right.
Ooh, I'm coming. They say we're gonna get you there.
What are you up to now? 50,000?
No,
Oh.
I'm over 600.
600,000?
600K.
Oh, I don't know.
Might be at 800 by the end of the year.
I'm sweating over here.
All I'm saying is once I get to 1 million, Skip,
It's over?
yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, OVA, over.
And what's over, OVA, is Michael Jordan. That's all. It's over.
It's been over. We've been caught him.
LeBron
We
needed
caught
a-
him when they was down
He
3-1.
needed a year in the sunshine just to cool out,
Skip.
just to chill, just to say, take
Skip,
the
we
pressure
passed-
off
Skip,
me.
Once we were down 3-1 to
Yeah.
a 73-win team, that's when we passed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's wrong with LeBron just, finding a new home.
Living his
in
best
California.
life.
We're all in LA. We thought it was a good choice.
No mercy.
Dez Bryant was very busy on Twitter this weekend, and it started with a quote from Cowboys executive VP Stephen Jones tweeting out saying basically Dak Prescott had a tough year with Dez in his ear, and Jones suggested Dak could have a better season without Dez. He responded to that by tweeting, "Here we go with that scapegoat bleep. I charged everything to the game and went the other way. Y'all know what the real problem is? Don't put it on me with that bull. Garbage play calling, everybody lined up the same spot for 17 weeks. Then when a Twitter user called Jones clueless, Dez responded saying, quote, he's not clueless. Jerry was the only one who was clueless. Bleep was planned to get me out. Ask Travis and my brother Sean Lee. So this is continuing on. And then, of course, we've got Skip tweeting, Dez Bryant needs to move on. The Cowboys have. And Dez wrote, shut up. I've been moved on. Dez then said, invite me to the show. I'm there. So get this, guys. He tweeted 60 times on Friday, 30 times on Saturday. I think I had one tweet over the weekend. I need to step up my game. Shannon, when you see all of this back and forth, what is going on here?
Dez feels he's gotten a raw deal, Skip. But to Dez's credit, Skip, I fought serious because when they didn't tag Jason Witten because Stephen Jones also said Jason Witten was also in Dak Prescott's ear.
True.
And they only put Dez because they knew Dez was what reaction they would get from Dez.
Who tagged? Who was that?
Serious.
Serious.
Yes.
Thank
the
you.
radio show. Because Stephen Jones gave this on the radio show.
Yeah.
And they tagged Dez that Dez was in Dak's ear.
Because Jason's not going to respond.
Right.
Okay.
But he did. But to Stephen Jones, he said Dez and Jason.
He sure did.
Was in Dak Prescott's ear. Skip, he's unhappy. Dez Bryant's entire career, Skip, growing up as a child, he wanted to be a professional football player. I believe his childhood dream was to play for the Dallas Cowboys.
There's no doubt. Lufkin, Texas.
The Dallas Cowboys are in training camp, and Dez Bryant, as he
hard,
tweeted you,
man.
he's sitting on his couch.
Sitting.
And it's everybody else's fault that Dez is not playing for the Dallas Cowboys. You see, it's Stephen Jones' fault. It's Jerry Jones' fault. It's Snake Lee, Sean Lee. He called Sean Lee a snake. Yeah. It's everybody's fault. But Skip, when Dez Bryant walked through his house, I'm sure he passes a lot of mirrors. Not any of those reflection that he sees is Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, or Sean Lee. It's him. When will he accept responsibility? Skip, he was 12th in targets. 12th in all of 2017 in targets with over 130. He was tied for 24th in catches. He was 28th in receiving yards. Skip, those numbers do not coincide with the amount of money with the Cowboys we're going to have to pay him. He was scheduled to make $16.5 million, Skip. That would have been the third highest cap hit among wide receivers. If Dez Bryant was the third best receiver, Jerry Jones wouldn't have a problem paying Dez $18 million a year. Because one thing we know now, Jerry will pay you. Jerry he'll give you some money now.
Well, he paid him once.
Paid him.
Whew.
Paid him. But Skip, the thing about the NFL is that what I say, you got to update your resume. Now, your resume in 2013 and 14, Dez, that thing was spectacular. Woo! We talked about Dez Bryant, Julio Jones. Who's better, Skip? I don't know. I'm like Dez. I mean, Dez getting the balls. Julio stays nicked up. Nobody's even talking about that. Nobody. You can't find one person that will say Dez Bryant is a top 10 receiver. There are a lot of reasons. Skip, injuries had a lot to play. You know, he had knee injuries. He had ankle problems. Maybe he had hip issues. Dez was never technically or fundamentally sound in running the route tree. And as he started to age and as those injuries started to take effect on him, Skip, granted, maybe he said they were lining me up in one position, but Dez was on the in breaking routes, back shoulder phase. Every cornerback comes out here, say the same thing. We play for in breaking routes and win the 50-50 jump balls. That's how we get Dez. But he's lashing out, Skip, because they're practicing, and he's not. If he was on a team, I believe he would have, he still have this animosity because he feels that someone undermined him. Not his own inability, but someone. Skip, Sean Lee is a good player. Sean Lee would need to have Ray Lewis type power in the Ravens organization to be able to get an offense. And Ray couldn't get no offensive players. He might say, guys, this guy on defense, he's not paying attention to me, he's not doing yada, yada, yada. Not to say Ray did that, but I'm saying, but for a defensive player to be able to get an offensive player off a team, Skip, I've never heard. Now, a quarterback has that kind of leverage that can get a defensive player off the field, obviously. But for a defensive player to get, I don't see how that happens. And he's just upset, Skip, and he can't let it go. He can't let it go that he's not on the Cowboys and someone has something to do with it other than his inability to make plays.
So, I'm with you. And the first point I need to make is Jenny read the tweet that I tweeted on Friday. About a minute later, I tweeted a second tweet to your point, and I said, the only reason Dez Bryant is no longer a Cowboy is that he did not perform up to his contract. Period, end of story. That's it. And when he goes to scapegoat, a scapegoat is someone who is wrongly or unfairly blamed for what happened. I don't think he was wrongly or unfairly blamed. You're in the Hall of Fame, and you laid it on the line week after week after week. his body began to betray him. He lost some quickness. He couldn't separate. Then he lost some confidence. He started ball dropping. He led the league in drop passes. It was hard to watch, and so is this, because I like Dez Bryant. I would really love to have him come in here this week and sit right here.
Yeah.
Because I tweeted last night, we would be happy to give you as much time as you want to say whatever you want.
Right.
Because he could come for the whole show. We wouldn't care. You can just lay it on the line for us. Maybe he would enlighten us.
Right.
Maybe he would convince us, oh, there was this going on or that going on that we were not aware of.
Right.
So I'm open for business there. I would love for him to come in and try to put it in some perspective for us. I do not hate Dez Bryant. I hate what happened to him last year. I'm a fan, so any fan's going to react the same way. I was his biggest fan in 2014. I thought he was the best receiver in football.
Right.
And I don't know how many times I threw up the X. And now, nobody throws up the X.
No.
And Dez is still unsigned, which is, it's a sad story to me.
And here's the thing. Sean Lee said, we butted heads. Here's the thing. He says, we butted heads because I wanted Dez to be more accountable to his team and to his teammates. And to be honest with you, a lot of the team felt that way. Skip, let me say, as a team leader. Now, I don't know if this is why Sean Lee said what he said, but as a team leader, let me tell you what I held guys accountable for. I need you to show up on time, because if I can get there on time, you damn sure better. Meetings, practice, treatment. If you're nicked up, if you're injured, and treatment time is 7 o'clock, I need you there at 7. If Greek says I need you there at 8, I need you there at 8. Don't come missing and then say you can't practice. Or don't say I'm hobbled, because I don't want to hear that. And in meetings, I need you to pay attention. Don't be sleeping. Hell, I'm tired too. But they're paying you big bucks, and I need you to perform. Skip, show Dez his numbers. You tell me, Dez, these numbers. You tell me how 60 catches. You tell me how 900 yards, 6 touchdowns, worth $16.5 million. In what scenario?
All you need to know is that the man who loved Dez Bryant like a son, Jerry Jones, finally said, no more. He finally said no more. I was shocked. I didn't think he'd do it.
But you know what happened, Skip? Let me tell you what happened. Let me be all the way with you. Dez Bryant has been the exact same Dez Bryant in 2013, 2014, when he had double-digit touchdowns and way over 1,000 yards. But and I keep telling you this, there's two things that go on in sports. It's called production and tolerance. And when Dez production, all of a sudden, Skip, him being late for meetings, him not showing up for training, him being late for practice, that was a problem. Now, it wasn't a problem when he gave you 1,416 touchdowns because the production was high. And when production is high, so is tolerance. Tolerance will never be higher than production. And so now that production, it made it real easy for the Cowboys not to tolerate Dez not showing up on time or not being where he's supposed to be. That's how it works.
Yeah, and remember how that year was capped off with the catch that should have been in Green Bay, because it was a catch, and it would have sent them to the NFC Championship game at Seattle, where they had won in the regular season. So Jerry, coming off that, gave Dez his money. He gave him huge money, and it's going to strap them this year. It's still restricting what they can do, that and the Romo contract, right here, right now.
Jenny, that wasn't a catch. But Dez, here's the thing. Skip I want to talk routes. I want to talk real football. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know what? I'm gonna let Skip, you take the first 5-10 minutes of the thing, and when he spins his chair my way, we're gonna talk routes.
Okay. Well, I'd love to hear it.
Because all that other stuff, you can fool them fans, Dez Bryant. I don't even need to read you my resume. You know what I did. Come talk.
But he
talk
was
football.
blaming the team for his lack of production, saying it was obvious. So he doesn't seem to think he's at fault.
No.
Well, maybe there's backstory we don't know, and I would love to hear it. Maybe.
Hey, but at some point, Skip, be that as
the numbers are the numbers.
Numbers. They say numbers don't lie. They say people lie. They say women lie, men lie, children lie. The numbers don't lie.
They really don't. Dez, the invitation is open.
Yep, it is, Dez.
Always.
No mercy. So let's imagine that your dad is LeBron James. Now imagine your dad put on a dunking display at your AAU game. That is life for Bronny James, who watched his dad put on a mini slam dunk contest on Saturday before his AAU game. And by the way, Bronny also threw down his first career
Way
dunk
to go, Bronny.
in warm-ups
Way
this
to go.
weekend. At least that is a good sign. All right, Skip, I start with you on this one. What is
Thank
your
you.
reaction to the footage?
Be nice, Skip.
There is no way you're going to be able to defend your man on this.
What happened?
Because finally, after 15 seasons, LeBron James finally participated in and won a dunk contest against 13-year-olds, against 7th graders, before his son's game. And I'm saying, when I saw this last night, what are you doing, LeBron? I nearly fell off my chair when I thought, is this somehow Photoshop, CGI, Mission Impossible stuff? No, it happened. And this was just so pathetically wrong on so many levels because, first of all, his namesake son, 13-year-old LeBron James Jr., is obviously trying to make his own way in basketball. He's trying to make a name for himself. And all of a sudden, his father is in their layup line doing contest dunks. Not just doing shooting layups like the kids are shooting. He's doing contest dunks. And I'm thinking, imagine, what if Barry Bonds at age 13 had been taking batting practice with his 13-year-old teammates, and all of a sudden Bobby Bonds, who was a great player, steps into the cage, says, get out of my way here, and starts just jacking 400-foot shot home runs and said, ooh, look at me. What would you say? You'd say, get out of his way. Let him be Barry. Right?
What he's trying to do, Skip, Junior had not dunked yet. So he got Junior hyped.
Oh, so that's
Really?
Got Junior hyped. So
it took Dad coming out of the stands to do that. Really?
Yeah.
So why can't Bronny get hyped by himself? Because at some point he's got to do it on his own, right?
He is. But if you saw what happened when he did that, look at his teammates, how they reacted.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. So Dad got him hyped. And he was also, LeBron was doing a little trolling also.
Was he?
Yeah, a little bit, because he knew.
Trolling me?
Yeah,
So I'm told by you and Chris Broussard and others, LeBron's not a contest dunker. He can't do it on the solo stage because he's an in-game dunker because he doesn't have a lot of whipped cream to his game. You know, he can't do all these stylized dunks, these creative, clever dunks. He just power dunks, right? Isn't that what you always say? But those look like contest dunks to me. Those would have gotten 10s from any judge. They would have gotten 12s.
No.
You know it, and I know it.
Let him have fun. I mean,
took 15 years he avoided the NBA slam dunk contest, and then we get that at Bronny's game?
A lot of these fans will never, ever see LeBron James on a basketball court.
Well, how do you know that? They might.
What's the likelihood? Them fans not going to. So he brought the game to them. You're probably not going to get an opportunity to see me, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you a little highlight to your life. Look at that. Boom, boom.
He's upstaging his
I'm
poor
living
kids.
my best
He's
life.
upstaging his poor kids. Come on.
No, don't do that, Skip.
What are you
Smile.
doing? And did you see what happened on Friday night to Bronny's game? LeBron makes his grand entrance down through the back door and sits in the end zone seats. And all of a sudden there are security issues and people get mad at each other because there aren't enough seats in the little gym. They called it off. What did I tell you last week? I said they're going to have to start playing Bronny's games at Staples. Yeah. Like pre-game to the Laker game,
Would
right?
you see the kid last night hit a three and then pull the arrow at LeBron?
Yeah.
But, I mean,
seriously, you're going to have to start moving them to much bigger venues. Or they're going to have lots of problems. Yeah. Because LeBron cannot help himself. He's got so much kid left in him. He wants to get out there with his kid and actually play.
So that's just, he's just chomping at the bit.
And
to
you know
get
what?
ready to get going.
Next, LeBron's going to be in the game, in the AAU game
Stop
with the 13-year-olds. And finally, he can win a championship.
And you know
he can
what,
win an AAU championship.
The way
Will they let him? Because he's LeBron.
The way he's been blowing through the NBA, are you sure those weren't AAU players he's been going against the last 15 years?
Really?
Did you see how he been going through?
In the East, yeah.
Like Sherman went through Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, 60-mile wide patch.
Well, he did, because there's no competition. I get that.
Oh, but
maybe he felt comfortable because this was just like playing in the East. Did
you see what he did? Yeah. There was no competition in the East. He goes to the West where the competition. Now he don't want to compete.
Well, he doesn't. He just took.
Why wouldn't he just stay in the East?
Well, I've been asking that question for 3 weeks. I don't know why not.
Cause.
Call us why.
Greater the challenge.
Sunshine, Hollywood, Staples, Purple and Gold.
Confucius said the greater the challenge, the greater the conquest.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So pick them.
Yeah.
Pick them to win it all next year.
No.
Yes.
No.
How do you defend this? Wasn't this just pathetic?
Did you see Mission Impossible?
Yes, I did.
One of the great quotes from that movie is what, Skip?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure there was one.
Yeah, it was a great one.
You were way ahead of me if you heard a great one.
Great suffering.
Oh,
brings
that
about
was
great peace.
But that was from the villain.
Yeah.
Oh, that was from the guy who's trying to terrorize
That's
the
what
world.
I'm saying. Yes.
Blow up whole
LeBron
countries.
James leaving the East, going West.
Oh.
The greater the challenge, the greater the conquest. Oh.
So is he going to cause great suffering in the West? Yeah, his own.
When he wins
Not
that
anybody
title,
else's.
when he wins that title in the Western Conference, then what? Then what will be said? Oh, Kobe got 5. Oh, Magic got 5. See, there'll be because that narrative won't be good enough
Did
anymore.
you say if or when he wins that
I
title?
said when he wins that title.
Because that's a big if that's actually a
Don't do no ifs.
He's not going to win a title.
He can win a title.
With whom? Who's going
With
to
the
help him?
Los Angeles Lakers.
And who's going to join him? If Kevin Durant joins him, I'll give you a shot. Only that way.
He's winning a title. And then what will you say then?
Is he going to come off the bench at that point?
You know what, Skip, but you
You're 20, 21, 22? I don't know.
We might stick around. The only way we come off the bench is for Junior. If Bronny in the starting lineup, we'll come off the bench. We'll give him a blow.
You know, when I watched this stunt, I just seen Mission Impossible, and it's just filled with the most outlandish stunts you've ever seen. And supposedly, reportedly, Tom Cruise did most of them.
Yes.
Okay?
And he got hurt. Seriously.
He broke his ankle or his
I
foot?
think he's done that for a while.
So I'm thinking, was this like somehow CGI? Like somebody just
No.
This was Mission Impossible?
He just got Bronny hyped.
Yeah.
And Bronny, next thing you know, Bronny come out of the line and Bronny flush one. Yeah.
Apparently, LeBron said he first dunked in 8th grade, and so now Bronny's going into 8th grade. So technically, Bronny beat him to it.
Yet compared to the other kids, Bronny's not that tall.
No.
Yeah.
They got to do, you see the big dude, he tall as LeBron. And the dude's in the 7th grade.
Are they in 7th grade? I don't even know if they're
No, I
in
got to see
7th
the
grade.
paperwork.
But see, the only face I'm worried about that we don't see is Bronny's reaction. Because if he's like, oh, here we go again, rolling his eyes, if he's smiling and having fun, then great.
I gotta believe
Put
he's
on a show.
I think he's rolling his eyes.
I think
That's
he's
the
Dad,
part
just
that
leave
worries
me be. Leave me be. Let me do this by myself. Dad in the layup
You
line?
can't do this by yourself.
He's allegedly the greatest player in the world.
Use
what
all
are
your
you doing?
use all your influence.
What?
When my
How
brother
could you
would come
do
to the
that?
track meets and tell me how to do things, I was trying to absorb all that knowledge.
Would he jump in and race with you?
If he could have. But I said, bro, I got this one.
You got-
I got
Racing
this
on
one.
the side.
I got this one. We're tracking him down. Skip.
Who's faster, you or Sterling?
Oh, he was way faster
That's
than me.
what I thought.
All right.
That was honest. That was your first honest reply on this
Skip, the
show.
dude ran 10-5.
I know he did. I wanted to see if you'd take my bait.
No.
You didn't.
No. But I ran a lot of people down.
We're
Mainly my
racing
cousin.
Your cousin.
He's not going to forget that.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.